Okay, what was I saying? Before Vedanta is a particular ritual, satsang is a particular ritual for disseminating knowledge. A particular kind of knowledge, self-knowledge. Now, that self-knowledge, what does self-knowledge mean? Does that mean knowledge of my apparent person, the body, mind, intellect entity that I think I am? Is that self-knowledge? Well, that's knowledge of a particular self, but no, the answer is no. It's knowledge of existence shining as awareness, ever full, ever complete, unborn awareness, which is my real self. So the teaching sets up a discrimination in your mind so that you can understand the difference between what you really are and who you think you are. And now, why would I want to do that? Because if there's a confusion, that confusion is we call suffering. And human beings are famous for suffering. Of all the billions and trillions of species there are in existence, there's only one species that suffers, and that's human beings. That suffering is the form of worry about what's going to happen. And so Vedanta addresses that issue. Why I'm suffering. It's always about the why. The how, you don't need any instruction on that. Everybody knows how to suffer. That suffering means worry. We're not talking pleasure and pain. Pleasure and pain are just part of a transactional reality, but suffering is what you add to what happens in life. What you put on top of what you experience. The experience itself is value neutral. There's no experience you have is inherently good or inherently bad. Whatever it is that creates experience for us is not a big person in the sky somewhere else with a lot of likes and dislikes dictating that a particular experience or object is a good object or a bad object. Our basic fundamental experience is just me, a conscious entity, consciousness, experiencing objects, i.e., having experiences. And those experiences are not good experiences or bad experiences. If they're a good experience, I've added the goodness to the experience. If they're a bad experience, that experience has been added by me. Now, that's a big problem for most people to understand that point of view, isn't it? Because it's very convenient to blame experiences for your suffering. It's very, very inconvenient to point the finger and blame yourself, isn't it? And say, maybe I'm the one that's making this a pleasant experience or a bad experience. For instance, if you look at a sunset, is that sunset beautiful? Let's say we got the most spectacular sunsets over in Kolmanar, where we live. We live in the Axarquia mountain range, and the sunsets are spectacular. But from the sunset's point of view, from whatever it is that's creating those sunsets, which is just what the play of certain physical factors, light and moisture, right, and color and so forth and so on, which are produced by the senses, right? Those experiences are value neutral, aren't they? From the experience from the sunset's point of view. I mean, if a dog looks at a sunset, does he think it's a beautiful sunset? Or a cat looks at a sunset, sitting there beside you in your chair, cat's there, and both of you's eyes are opened and information is streaming in, and the person, the human being, thinks it's a beautiful sunset, and the cat, does he think it's a beautiful sunset? Does he yet? No, he doesn't think it. He doesn't think it's a beautiful sunset. He doesn't project meaning on objects. When something, our cat got an infection because it fights. It's a tomcat. It's a feral cat. He got an infection, and he doesn't think that infection is bad. What does he? Because he doesn't. There's no expectation that there could be a non-infection, because he doesn't remember what he experienced a second before.
He doesn't evaluate it.
He doesn't evaluate it. It's your memories that are causing you to evaluate experiences and turn them into good or bad. So if you have problems with events, in other words, things appearing and disappearing in your awareness, then it's due to what? It's due to your conditioning. A similar situation has produced a good feeling or a bad feeling in a particular circumstance. So Vedanta is a means for teaching us the difference between the subject, the conscious entity. Does anyone here doubt that they're conscious? All the people here who doubt that they're conscious, please raise their hand. Why do no hands go up? Does all the people who doubt that they exist, please raise your hand. Nobody raises their hand. Well, that's funny. Well, why not? Because it's a self-evident fact, isn't it? It's something that's already known to you. So we don't need to teach you that you exist in your conscious. But how many of you in this room or out there in cyberspace, wherever you are in the pixel world, how many of you feel that you're free and limitless? Nobody's raising their hand. No, why because let's just think about it. If you exist, and Vedanta says that existence is the real you, And if you're conscious, Vedanta says that consciousness is the real you. Consciousness and existence being non-separate, non-dual. Then, and you experience love, then that existence and consciousness has to be love, doesn't it? If there's only one principle operating here, see, this is what non-duality means. Non-duality means, we need to establish this terminology. Non-duality means what? There are not two principles operating here, even though I experience two principles. I experience myself as a subject, and I experience objects presenting themselves to me. You can see why Vedanta is difficult, because it's making a statement that contradicts my basic experience. So somehow we've got to remove the belief that when you're experiencing an object, whatever it is, something seemingly other than you, you're actually experiencing yourself. You're actually experiencing what? Existence shining as what? Non-dual love. Totally self-satisfied love. Could you be satisfied in love without one other person?